As I mentioned in a recent video, I'm always on the lookout for new and exciting audio-related things. I'm actually really happy with the setup that I've got going right now, with the sound that I'm able to accomplish, but I saw an item over on Amazon that, for the price, I couldn't pass it up. Today we're going to take a look at the Marantz Professional Audioscope SG-5B. Battery or phantom-powered shotgun microphone with XLR output. This may seem kind of random and off the wall. Why are we taking a look at this microphone after we just looked at the Focusrite just a couple of days ago? This microphone is less than $20 on Amazon. Actually pulling it up right now on my laptop, it's $13.23 with the XLR connector. They also offer one that has a built-in cable. It goes out to a 3.5mm jack. That one's like $50, but this one, like I said, it's less than $15 right now. I think I paid $16 for it. I'm not expecting this to be the best thing in the world, but if you're just getting started on YouTube, something like this could be a very decent little bump in your setup, if it's any good. So jumping right into the box. You get some books, stuff you're not going to look at, user guide with all kinds of information on it, shows you all the things you should expect to get inside of the box. Mentions here it has two different polar patterns, cardioid and super cardioid. There's your sensitivities. They do change based upon the pattern that you pick, your impedance, max SPL and signal to noise ratio. Feel free to pause this and take a look at it if you want to read through it. There's your two different polar patterns as well as the frequency response diagram. This also comes with a decently long XLR to XLR cable, two different mounting options, one for the cold shoe on top of your camera, one for a traditional microphone stand. It doesn't come with a 3/8 to 5/8 inch adapter, but that's okay. Comes with a little windscreen. This is not a dead cat or anything, but this will definitely help keep the plosives at bay and maybe a little teeny bit of wind. And finally, the microphone itself. And you can see, just holding it up in front of my face, this is a decently long microphone. Usually in scenarios like this, the longer the microphone, the better the reach it's going to have. I'm okay with that. Just initial impressions of the build quality. It's all very solid. I mean, this is all metal. The button, I think the button may be plastic, but actually it has a very solid feel to it. And this back section here does unscrew, revealing a AA battery section. So if you do want to use it without phantom power, if you want to plug directly into your camera using an XLR to 3.5mm cable, you can do that. You just have to provide power to it. And like I said, it does come with these two different mounts, so you just snap it into place, put this on a mic stand or a boom pole, snap it into the other one, and then mount it on top of your camera, and you're good to get started. Additionally, this windscreen should just kind of slide into place over the end of it. There you go, something like that. So it does come almost to the edge of the switch, and at this point, without any further ado, I think it's time to go ahead and do some tests with it. So the audio you're hearing right now is coming out of the Focusrite Scarlett CM25 Mark II. It's a condenser microphone that's about a foot away from my head, and it is being boosted significantly in post. The audio you're hearing right now is coming out of the Audio-Technica AT8024, mounted on top of my camera, which is about 2.5 feet away from me. And if everything's going appropriately, the audio you're hearing right now should be coming out of the Marantz SG-5B. I did have to turn the gain knob up on the Focusrite to almost 100% for it to even really show up. And it is using 48 volts of phantom power, and the mic is actually about 6 to 8 inches away from my face. This is significantly closer than the Focusrite that I was using before. This is what the microphone sounds like when it's placed right up next to my face. We're just literally 2 inches away from it, so should be significantly louder and clearer. I can't actually mount the microphone on top of my camera at the moment because the lighting stand and everything is in the way blocking it. But I guess just to test the pattern here, this is the angle it should work best at, but if I start going off axis, it should very quickly stop working appropriately. Now it's back to where it's sort of normal. We go the other direction, or we go down, or we go this way, and it should significantly stop working appropriately. Just taking a look at it in the capture program over here, it looks like it's working appropriately. And if I turn it to the super cardioid pattern, that should have a lot more reach, and boy, it looks a lot louder in there. So holding it back up overhead where it's just out of the frame with that super cardioid pattern, it's a lot louder. And now I've moved the microphone overhead. I've got it about, again, 6 inches away from my face, hopefully just out of line of the frame, with a AA battery inserted, and I've got it on the normal cardioid pattern. Now I've gone ahead and switched it to the super cardioid pattern. It looks like it's definitely doing a lot more in terms of the mic levels. So there you go, there's a bit of a quick audio sample. And now testing it with a slightly, hopefully, cleaner audio sample. I have the microphone in hand, obviously, plugged into my overhead camera. It's a camcorder, so it has a slightly better preamp than my Panasonic G7 I normally film with, plus better manual audio controls. So hopefully this sounds just a little bit better. And if I place it roughly back where it would be overhead, this should give you a bit of a sample as to how it would sound when connected to a camera that has a good, proper preamp built into it. And we are using the cardioid pattern. And here we have a sample of the super cardioid pattern. I can see already it's spiked spiking out, so let me turn it back down. There we go. I've turned down the levels inside of the overhead camera. That should be a little closer. What I've noticed so far using this super cardioid pattern is it feels like a much narrow beam, like you're isolating a lot of the external sound out of it. Feels a little bit less natural, to be honest. And now we should be back over on my normal audio setup. I'm gonna go ahead and say what you guys are probably all thinking. Obviously, this is not a fair comparison, not a fair test. The microphone I'm using overhead came as a part of a $200 bundle. The microphone that I'm using on top of my camera is I think it's $150 to $200 microphone, whereas this was 15 bucks. For that price, is it worth it? The audio samples that I heard, what I listened to, it was very background hiss heavy, no matter what I hooked it up to. I could hook it up to the Focusrite and get the cleanest possible sound, and it wasn't that bad. With a little bit of post-processing, it was able to be, I would call it usable. With a significant boost in the gain and noise reduction, it didn't sound completely horrible. Hopefully I put everything down there so you could see it as I was demonstrating it, but for the price, I think it's one of the better microphones you can probably get. The build quality, the included accessories and everything, but keep in mind you have to have something to use XLR, and realistically, most of the stuff you're going to pick up that uses XLR is going to be a lot more expensive, so why invest in a super cheap mic if you're going to do that? But if you're just getting started and you've got an XLR to 3.5mm cable, this definitely would be an interesting option. It would definitely, I would say it would work. I don't think it would be amazing, but it would work. And if you're willing to do some capturing using an external recorder and then do some post-processing on the audio, you could definitely get some decent usable audio out of this thing. So I'm going to put a link down in the description to where you can go and check this out if you're interested. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section. Hit the like button if you liked it. And if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get notified whenever I put out any new videos. I definitely appreciate it. But thank you guys as always for watching, and I'll see you again next time.